A very good afternoon to all of you. You're watching Mirror Now. I am Gauri Singh. First up, let's get you a big story that concerns you and me. I'm talking about traffic jams. Mumbai is notorious for its traffic jams, but in the latest rankings by a global agency, the city has slipped a rank from its earlier position and is now the fifth most traffic congested city in the world. It recorded an average decrease of 18% in vehicular congestion compared to pre-COVID levels. But despite the drop in traffic jams amid COVID, 4 Indian cities are in the top 25 traffic congested cities list. If we talk about Bengaluru, it's in the 10th place and Delhi is at 11th and Pune holds the 21st rank.
Although year 2021 has changed the work culture from going to office to work from home, but this has never decreased the traffic in Mumbai, and this seems to be a forever problem for Mumbaikars. Although if we speak from TomTom index of traffic, the 18% of decrease is for sure witnessed in Mumbai, but this has not increased any kind of relief for Mumbaikars. And if we speak globally, Mumbai is on number 5th when it comes to vehicular congestion, when it comes to traffic and slow movement. Right now we are near Ghatkopar-Mankur Link Road, and across the visuals also you will be able to find out that this entire road has been impounded with vehicles and people are seen suffering from traffic on a daily basis. If we speak about the traffic, in last year it was during monsoon and festive seasons where the entire city was choked due to traffic, and this seems to be a never-ending problem for Mumbaikars. Now, in fact, if we speak about infrastructure as well, there are certainly coastal road projects and other roads are being constructed, but for now, Mumbaikars are feeling the same suffrage due to traffic movements in Mumbai.
Now let's get you some live ground reports from these congested metro of India. In fact, Shweta is joining us live from Mumbai and Neha Hebale is live from Bengaluru. In fact, let me go across to Neha Hebale first, who is going to give us an update as to what really is happening in the city of Bengaluru. So if we talk about Bengaluru, Neha, we have seen that this particular city, I think after Mumbai, is one of the most infamous cities for traffic jams, traffic congestion. But as per this particular report that we are talking about, the traffic congestion has dipped 32% in the city pre-COVID times. Is it really the situation on ground? Have you seen that kind of change in the city?
Well, absolutely, Gauri, pleasant surprise over here for Bengalurians, and one would understand that, Bengaluru being the IT-BT capital also of the country, the tech hub, that several people have now started working from home over the past 2 years. In fact, just to give you a sort of, glimpse, we're in a very busy area of central Bengaluru. This is right near, in fact, the Cubbon Park, near MG Road, an area that would normally, of course, see a lot of congestion. Now, considering that a lot of people too have been working from home over the past 2 years, the situation has definitely eased, one must say. Let's also tell you that, at this point, while the TomTom survey over here does say that Bengaluru has ranked 10th, this is a very pleasant surprise. The pandemic has managed to do what several, urban planners and the government could not really do in terms of easing traffic congestion on the roads. And even now, in fact, as we are reporting about the traffic over here in the city of Bengaluru, it's imperative to remember that this comes at a time when there are several metro projects that have been delayed. There are several, smart city projects that have been delayed. And despite all of the other work that's actually underway on the streets of the city right now, understandably so, of course, it is something that has come in as a big surprise for Bengalurians, pleasantly, of course. Also, let's tell you that another problem with Bengaluru city used to be the fact that there were so many people traveling during the peak hours at around the same time that now, much like other parts of the city as well, where we are seeing that, owing to the pandemic, people have started working from home, the situation has eased. I'm going to try and quickly, maybe go over to people who travel on the roads every day, try and get a voice from them as well and understand from them if they feel the same. भैया आप बता सकते हैं अभी हम देख सकते हैं कि बेंगलुरु सबसे ज़्यादा ट्रैफिक वाला सिटी था और इस बार जो सर्वे हुआ है बेंगलुरु 10 नंबर पे आया है, मतलब ट्रैफिक नीचे गिरा है 10 नंबर पे। आप हर रोज़ ऑटो आपका चलाते हैं, आपको क्या लगता है कि ट्रैफिक कम हुआ है 2 साल में?
हाँ, थोड़ा बहुत कम हुआ है। थोड़ा बहुत कम हुआ है।
मैडम आप बताइए, आप हर रोज़ रोड पे ट्रैफिक में जाते हैं, आपको क्या लगता है कि अभी 2 साल में ट्रैफिक काफ़ी कम हुआ है?
हाँ, अभी थोड़ा ट्रैफिक कम ही हुआ है। जितने बार हम निकलते हैं बाहर उतनी बार तो ट्रैफिक कम ही रहता है। ज़्यादा हेवी की ट्रैफिक तो नहीं रहता है। जी, थैंक यू।
In fact, that was of course one voice of a commuter and also of an auto driver. We're going to try and speak to maybe just, one more person over here before we actually let them go and understand from them. Madam, हम देख रहे हैं कि बेंगलुरु में 2 साल से पहले और अभी ट्रैफिक काफ़ी कम हुआ है। आज इनफैक्ट सर्वे हुआ है जिसमें बेंगलुरु 10th नंबर पे है, मुंबई अभी बेंगलुरु से भी आगे है। आप काफ़ी रोड पे जाते हैं, आपको क्या लगता है कि बेंगलुरु सिटी में ट्रैफिक कम हुआ है अभी 2 साल में, पैंडेमिक की वजह से और वर्क फ्रॉम होम की वजह से? आप बात करेंगे, ट्रैफिक कम हुआ है आपको लगता है बेंगलुरु में 2 साल में? All right, never mind. Well, of course, summing up what the previous commuters over here said, that, of course, understandably so, and there are several reasons for the traffic too coming down and the situation getting eased a little bit, and one would hope that, this does continue at least, at least for the next few months when people are working from home. Back to you.
That's right. Neha, thank you so much for getting us those voices from the city of Bengaluru. Let me shift our focus to the city of Mumbai now, probably the most congested city in the country now. And as per this list, of course, it is. Let me go across to Shweta for more details on this. So, Shweta, I can't think of anything that has not been said about traffic congestion, traffic jam that Mumbai faces every day. It is a torture for people who don't live in the city, and for Mumbaikars, it is almost an unescapable part of life now. But even during lockdown and all kind of curbs on public movement, there was no respite for the people whatsoever. Like, there is a slight improvement in the ranking, but still it is in the top 10, in fact top 5 most congested cities of the world.
Well, absolutely. In fact, the visuals behind me speaks in volume to tell our viewers about the traffic congestion what financial capital faces on a daily basis. Here we are at a very important junction. In fact, this is Ghatkopar Chhedanagar junction, and this leads to Western Railways, this leads to Central, and very importantly, this leads to the airport as well. And this is the particular view which we can find during peak hours, and in fact, non-peak hours also. This entire road is in fact impounded with vehicles, what we find out right now. And also talking about the global rankings according to TomTom Traffic Congestion Index, although we have slipped on 5th number, but still the woes of Mumbaikars when it comes to traffic continues. Although there has been 18% decrease which has been witnessed, but on ground what we find out the same situation which was pre-COVID and in fact during now also. We spoke to a few of the Mumbaikars, few of the commuters in fact, and there seems to be no respite in traffic congestion. If we speak about the Mumbai infrastructure, see there are metro lines going on which are under construction. In fact, there are Trans-Harbour Link Road in fact which is under construction, but there seems to be no relief for Mumbaikars, those who travel on these roads on daily basis for their office, for their work or for their business. And during COVID also it was noticed that although there was a slight decrease, but now when markets are open, business, schools, everything is being opened, this is the visuals what we get to our viewers from one of these stretch in Mumbai. And in fact, not only this stretch, and this is not even a peak hour, this is very important to in fact note that this is not any peak hour for the city, but still the traffic woes continues to trouble Mumbaikars. And of course Mumbaikars have been constantly worrying about the traffic situation and when will these slow movement traffic will come in control, although there are constructions going on, but as of now there is no relief for Mumbaikars when it comes to traffic congestion.
Shweta, thank you so much for getting us all those details. Neha, thank you for joining us live from Bengaluru. In fact, I have very special 2 guests joining us on this very important issue with their perspective, their views on this this menace that we face every day in metro cities. In fact, Dr. Ashish Verma, Sustainable Transportation Lab, IISC Bengaluru. In fact, Ashok Datta, transport expert, is also with us. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. First of all, Dr. Ashish Verma, coming to you. It seems that COVID-19 appears to have done something which the cities, administrations, the urban planners, all of them together have failed to do in all these years. That is, reduce the traffic congestion a bit. Yet, having 3 of our mega cities in top 20 list of the most congested cities in the world is a matter of big concern. It can't be touted as a massive improvement of sort.
So, thanks for inviting me, Gauri. And it's not a surprise to me at all that our metro cities and some of our other cities are also on the top list of traffic congested cities. We have appeared in earlier list also. It's primarily a huge mismatch of the demand and supply of travel. The gap between the demand and supply that leads to the traffic congestion. And unfortunately, in last few decades, the heavy focus on road infrastructure measures as a way to reduce this gap of demand and supply has led to this situation where our cities, especially Mumbai, Delhi, Bengaluru, are in the top list of traffic congested cities, because in situation where our personal car ownership and personal vehicle ownership is exponentially growing, and we are still well below any saturation level of car ownership in our country. Any amount of road space that you create gets filled in no time. You're showing images from Bengaluru as well as from Mumbai. I've lived in Mumbai and worked in Mumbai, even in MMRD for some time. I was a PhD scholar at IIT Bombay. We have seen how road infrastructure measures, in Mumbai has been a predominant focus. But in no time, we have realized, for example, the Eastern Express Highway or Western Express Highway, JVLR, etc. Within 10 years of widening these roads and constructing several flyovers on them, we realized that we need to have now a metro corridor on these roads. And we are now constructing again metro corridor, which means at the beginning, we didn't realize that how short-lived those measures are. Same kind of situation or problem we are seeing in city like Bengaluru also, where there is heavy emphasis on road infrastructure measure, rather than trying to see how you can bring public transport to be more and more used, reduce distances for people to travel, so that walking and cycling can become a possible or preferred option for people to travel. Unless you reduce the demand for travel, it's very difficult to match this gap between demand and supply.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point. In fact, I'll come back to that particular point in just a bit. But let me go across to Ashok Datta, transport expert too. Ashok Datta, why do you think that despite all the restrictions on traffic movement, public movement during the pandemic time, there has been hardly any improvement when it comes to traffic situation in our metro cities?
Quite obvious that we have reduced substantially much more on the use of buses, and compared to that, there is a proportionately more use of cars is being made, two-wheelers are being made, and obviously a bus carries something like 40 people per trip, whereas a car which occupies 1/3 of the space carries 2 people. So there is something like 15 times more space efficiency of buses. I think we have to look at the space. That means the number of square meters that you require per person for different modes. And I feel that in roads, we can't run metro, and obviously buses can almost go wherever cars can go. In that case, if we have reduction in the proportion of bus users and increase in some proportion of the car users, I think situation gets very bad. And this is something was encouraged because a lot of people, very fewer people did go travel by bus during the last 3 years. Whereas relatively more people did travel by car. So I feel that it is the kind of a proportion of people using cars and people using buses with the given road space. It makes all the difference. And I feel our idea also building the wrong roads which is a wrong infrastructure, that is coastal highway and things like that, because there will be very few people per square meter will be traveling because they are traveling by car. Whereas those who can travel by car, so there must be, I agree that there must be car usage, but proportionately car usage, which has been rapidly increasing over last 20 years, because the number of cars are increasing at the rate of 10% and buses are absolute number decreasing. So let us understand this quite clearly, and let us not correlate metro or trains with the road. Road is road and railway is railway. So there is only some kind of a migration take place from metro to this thing. People boldly said at Delhi Metro at 2000 that as a result of this Delhi Metro, the number of vehicles will come down to half, which is completely false. What has happened during last 20 years of Delhi Metro expansion, number of cars increase also by equally 10% per year as in Mumbai. So Mumbai without many metros, cars going at 10%, and Delhi with metro also cars are growing by 10%. So the pressure comes all on the road, and Delhi metro is total Delhi people metro people used by only 45 to 50 lakh people, whereas Mumbai old suburban system runs with 80 lakh people per day, which is half the distance. Total kilometer is something like 120 kilometers, whereas Delhi has something like 300 kilometers of metro spread. So I feel that if we just look at it, space required per capita in per different mode, and then you realize why this is happening. It is a very simple arithmetic.
Right.
So if we keep on using more space and carrying lesser people, that is our choice, because that's what we are having.
That's right. In fact, I wanted to focus on the solutions in the later part of the discussion. But good, you have mentioned all these points. Coming back to Dr. Verma, first, a little about the problem of traffic jams itself. There are so many layers to this issue. It's not just a commuting hurdle. It has impact on people, their personal life, their professional life, and even sometimes their emotional and mental health. Would you want to weigh in on that? Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I think you really nailed the point. We have to see transportation also as one of the subsystems of a urban setup, a urban life. And it is the livability of the city, the quality of life that people enjoy in the city, which essentially should be the core goal or focus of any urban interventions that one think about, including transportation. In fact, in my research lab, we are extensively researching on these specific points that you mentioned, how it impacts mental and physical well-being, how it impacts the active lifestyle of people, how the exposure to pollution due to tailpipe emissions and ambient level of pollution is causing health impacts, and so on and so forth. So you have to look, one has to move away from this traditional way of transportation engineering where you just focus how many more vehicles are coming on the road and let's think about more road infrastructure. Rather, one has to think about in a systems perspective where you see transportation connected to these externalities, connected to even issue of equity, social equity. Many times we don't realize when we construct these flyovers, whether it is causing more accessibility to high income people versus the low income people, in a city, or male versus female. This kind of thought process and evaluation never comes in our mind. So it's this systems, perspective and thinking, which is extremely important and required to have holistic solutions with not just, tackle this core transportation problems of traffic congestion, travel time delays, etc., but also, leads to a better quality of life, improvement, a reduction in the tailpipe emissions. Because, along with this traffic congested cities, we know our cities also top on the list of, most polluted, cities, especially when we think about PM 2.5 or PM 10 and the main tailpipe emission, coming, and the most hazardous, health hazard for people. So it is extremely correlated to the traffic levels and the use of fossil fuel based, petrol, diesel based cars and, personal vehicles. And so, and the other aspect is, Indian economy, in India, all our oil dependency or the consumption is met mainly through imports. We are not an oil producing country. So in such a situation, you can't create a transportation system which will become more and more dependent on oil. I think that's foolishness, in my opinion.
Dr. Ashish Verma, thank you so much for joining us. And Ashok Dada, thank you so much for your views on this very important issue. And as we were also discussing, there has been a lot of debate over what can be done to resolve this issue to basically decongest our metro cities, be it focus on public transport, staggered work timings, more work from home shifts, even anti-encroachment drives. But I think, and even our experts feel the same way, that there is a need of some radical measures now. Hope our governments are listening.